So, when you were growing up, or stories that you've heard, were there businesses, places that were French Canadian owned, Franco-American, or that people frequented because they had that
Yes.
connection?
Yes. You always went to if you were French Canadian from the point, you try to give your business to another Frenchman.
Okay.
And there was a lot of stores down the point, grocery stores. We didn't go to well, it was only the First National in Salem, believe it or not, when I was growing up for a supermarket. We went to Audette's Market. Other people went to Tremblay's. The French Canadians traded with their own stores down the point, at least in the 50s when I was growing up, and I know before that they did. I went to a French barber, Mr. Theriot. And there was another French barber, Lavallee, down on Salem Street. All the French went there, so if you were French, you went there. There was a French mover in Salem, St. Pierre, no relation. When you needed to move, you went to Mr. St. Pierre. We all went to our own undertakers. And there used to be, that I remember, there was three. There was Orville Boucher, the one I was telling you about, who died, and somebody took over the parlor. I'll tell you about that later. But there was Boucher, there was Berube, and there was Levesque. And those were the three that the French people went to. The Irish were the same, though. They had their own undertakers, and they stuck with them. Insurance companies, the same thing. When my father finally did get a car, and then when I got a car, it was insured through Chaput, and then Auger. So they did, and the French were a huge population in Salem. They were right up there in numbers with the Irish. So they did support their own. You would go to a French store. And
that continued when you had left that neighborhood and you were a grown man yourself. Did you continue that?
No, because by that time, a lot of the stores were closing. All those small neighborhood stores had all closed. The grocery stores. The city was just changing. My generation was leaving. Not a lot of people of my generation stayed. They started to leave for Peabody and Beverly and Danvers and even to other states. So the community then started to break up for some reason. It all seemed to it happened. I thought it happened very quickly. You know, you go in the service in 67, 68, you come back in 70, you can see a change. By 72, 73, the point was really, it was like a shadow of itself with French people. It was, at that point, a lot of Hispanics that came in. And then as time went on, the French just totally drifted away, and it's more of a Latino community now. And the church the same way. They used to say Mass in French. When the Mass went from Latin to the vernacular, all our Masses were in French. And by the 1970s, you might have had one Mass in French, and then by the time it was 1980, they would only say a Mass on a special occasion for quote-unquote the old-timers in French. Now you can't get a Mass said in French. St. Joseph never said a Mass at the end at all in French. However, Father Dufour, once a year says a Mass in French. He said one this past Saturday, and I was away, otherwise I would have gone. He says the Mass in French, and people come from Lynn and from Salem to go. Not many. The numbers aren't great. So.